Hey guys, Magnus Robert here, bringing you another Dead Walking Dead character video. This one will be on Pickren, a Kingdom resident and militia fighter. Now the character actually has no name, so I'm naming him Pickren after the actor's surname, as I usually do for the unnamed backgrounds. So Pickren is of course male, he is played by Adam Pickren. He is mid to late 30s and first appears in Mercy. Nothing is known about his life before the outbreak, but after it began he found and joined the Kingdom, following King Ezekiel as his leader. It appears that Pickren was a part of Ezekiel's soldiers, but he isn't seen in any of the Saviour meetups in Season 7, so likely during those events Pickren was just guarding the kingdom or something. When war was declared after the liberation of Alexandria, Pickren travelled to join the Hilltop forces to help buff their numbers, along with fellow Kingdom resident Diane. In Season 8, at sunrise, Pickren attends the meeting of the militia in an open field. You can see him walking around there. Neat. He listens to Rick, Maggie and his king's speech, and then he heads out to attack the sanctuary with the others, eventually participating in shooting out the windows before drawing in a herd and fleeing. Pickren goes with the team to attack the satellite outpost, helping to kill some saviors. He then heads around to the garage and captures the fleeing saviors and helps to take them all captive. As they gather out, he also witnesses Morgan almost kill Jared before being stopped by Jesus. Pickren helps to escort the saviors back to the hilltop, taking up guard at the back of the line. When a herd of walkers tumble down the hill to attack, Pickren keeps his gun trained on a group of captive saviors, keeping them all from running away, as the rest of the militia members present deal with the herd and some fleeing captives. Pickren eventually arrives with the others and the captives, and waits outside as Maggie makes her decision on what to do with them. At night, he guards the captives outside the gates of the hilltop, and in the morning he helps to round up the saviors into the new makeshift prison pen, including Gregory. He also witnesses Maggie hit Jared when he tries to go for Diane's gun. It can be assumed after this, he found out what happened to the Kingdom forces. Maybe he was sad about it, who knows. Between this appearance and his next, it can be assumed that Pickren stayed back at the hilltop to guard it, because he's not seen at all after this, until he's next seen when the Alexandrians arrive at the hilltop with the sad news of Carl's death, and then Pickren's seen conversing with some others. On the eve of the Battle of the Hilltop, Pickren prepares to fight with his fellow militia members. Can't find him during the battle, but he obviously helped to fight back Simon's attack, eventually repelling the saviors. Maybe he was in the Barrington house, firing at them after they walked up slowly whistling. The next night he sleeps in the Barrington house, and a bunch of those infected with the gutted weapons by the saviors of course turn into walkers. Pickren survives this attack luckily, and likely helped to put down any turned residents. The following day he's seen on guard duty on the hilltop walls. Pickren is seen walking around the hilltop some more, after Gregory returns with a map, supposedly leading to where the saviors will be. In the finale, Pickren leaves the hilltop and heads to attack the saviors. After finding new plans on a savior roadblock, he is redirected to ambush the saviors on an open field. However, it turns out the ambush was an ambush, and Pickren hears the saviors whistling, it looking like they're all screwed. However, Eugene's bullet trickery gives Pickren and the rest of the militia a chance to fight. He begins to help to defeat the saviors, maybe killing a few, and of course they eventually all surrender. He then listens to Rick's speech about the next world and how he's also sparing Negan. In between Season 8 and 9, Pickren returned to the Kingdom and likely lived there and had a good time. In Season 9, Pickren moves to the campsite to help work on the construction of the bridge. He works on the bridge and watches the fight between Daryl and Justin break out. Later, he's at the campsite and watches Daryl beat up Justin again after Justin's lack of radioing cost Aaron his arm. After Justin's body is discovered, Pickren is on the anti-savior side of the mob as the saviors get angry wanting justice and guns. A brawl happens, people get punched, Carol tries to break it up, and Pickren stands there stunned as his allies draw their guns on the saviors. Some saviors grab weapons ready to attack, but luckily Ricky Dicky Doodog Rhymes rides in and disperses the tension. The next morning, Pickren watches all the saviors leave after a rat turns up dead too. Later, Pickren is seen talking to a woman at the camp. Ooh, Pickren. Ooh. Then he's seen walking off. Pickren later is seen helping to pack up and leave the campsite with I think the same woman. Ooh. He rushes to grab a box of guns along with said woman. Ooh. It's my personal headcanon that Pickren was making moves here, okay, because he was interested in her. Then sadly, Jed and the saviors return to the camp. A shootout occurs, and in the process, Jed shoots and kills Pickren off screen. Pickren eventually reanimated, as the chaos didn't allow for him to be put down. Sometime after this, an injured Rick arrives at the camp, and a Walker Pickren approaches Rick. Pickren closes in on Rick, and after Rick kills Zombie Norris, he raises his gun to Pickren and puts him down for good. Pickren's body is possibly buried after the fact too. R.I.P. Pickren. Pickren was a serious, major character in the show, and he had a blossoming romance occurring with another Kingdom resident, and the show just dropped it. And okay, obviously no, okay. Yeah, so he's another background character, but it's interesting that they gave Pickren a spotlight death at the camp alongside Xavier Norris and Oceanside Kathy. He really didn't do much of note really, but again, it's cool when the show is consistent with their background characters. You know, it shows some care. Anyway, tell me your thoughts on this brave Kingdom fighter. Did you like him? And thanks for watching. Let's spin that wheel. Let's decide who the next profile will be. Spin that wheel. It's gonna be... Ooh. Tanaka and Bello.